Hello everyone, welcome back to Learning Lane, your destination for smart, simple, and powerful learning. Today's topic is one of the most important and fascinating chapters in modern history, the Cold War. It wasn't a traditional war with armies fighting on battlefields. Instead, it was a battle of ideas, power, and influence that shaped the world for over 4 decades. So stay till the end, because by the end of this video, you'll understand what the Cold War was, why it started, its major events, and how it finally ended. Part 1. What was the Cold War? The Cold War was a period of tension and rivalry between two powerful groups of nations. On one side, the United States and its allies, who supported capitalism and democracy. On the other side, the Soviet Union and its allies, who followed communism and socialism. It lasted from 1947 to 1991. It is called a Cold War because the two sides never fought each other directly in a full-scale war. Instead, they competed through military build-up, nuclear weapons, propaganda, space exploration, proxy wars in other countries, political influence. Part 2. Why did the Cold War start? The roots of the Cold War go back to World War II. During the war, the US and the Soviet Union were allies against Nazi Germany. But once the war ended in 1945, their cooperation quickly turned into rivalry. Now let's see main reasons of Cold War. 1. Ideological differences. The US believed in capitalism, private businesses, free markets, and democratic elections. The Soviet Union believed in communism, where the government controlled industries and wealth was supposed to be shared equally. 2. Power vacuum after World War II. Europe was badly damaged after the war. Both the US and USSR wanted to expand their influence and shape the future political system of these countries. 3. Mutual distrust. The Soviet Union had suffered massive losses in World War II and wanted buffer states for security. The US feared the spread of communism and believed it threatened freedom and democracy. Part 3. Two superpowers emerge. After World War II, the world became divided into two main power blocs. Western Bloc, led by the United States, including countries like Britain, France, Canada, and Western Europe. And Eastern Bloc, led by the Soviet Union, including Eastern European countries like Poland, Hungary, East Germany, and others. This division created what British leader Winston Churchill famously called the Iron Curtain, an imaginary line separating communist Eastern Europe from capitalist Western Europe. Part 4. Major events of the Cold War. 1. Truman Doctrine and Marshall Plan, 1947. The US announced the Truman Doctrine, promising to help countries resist communism. Then came the Marshall Plan, which provided billions of dollars to rebuild European economies. The Soviet Union rejected this aid and pressured Eastern European countries to do the same. 2. Berlin Blockade and Airlift, 1948–49. Germany was divided into East and West after WWII, and so was its capital, Berlin. When the Soviet Union blocked roads into West Berlin, the US and its allies responded with the Berlin Airlift, flying supplies to the city for nearly a year until the blockade ended. 3. Nuclear arms race, 1950s–1980s. Both sides raced to build powerful nuclear weapons. This created the terrifying concept of mutually assured destruction, or MAD, meaning if one side launched nuclear weapons, the other would respond, destroying both. Ironically, this fear helped prevent direct war. 4. Space race, 1957–1969. The Cold War extended into space. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched the first satellite, Sputnik, shocking the US. The competition ended in 1969 when the US landed the first humans on the moon during the Apollo 11 mission. 5. Korean War, 1950–1953. Korea was divided into communist North Korea and capitalist South Korea. War broke out when North Korea invaded the South. The US and UN supported South Korea, while China and the USSR supported the North. The war ended in a stalemate, and Korea remains divided today. 6. Cuban Missile Crisis, 1962. This was the most dangerous moment of the Cold War. The US discovered Soviet nuclear missiles in Cuba, just 90 miles from Florida. For 13 days, the world stood on the edge of nuclear war. Eventually, both sides negotiated. The USSR removed missiles from Cuba, and the US secretly removed missiles from Turkey. 7. Vietnam War, 1955 to 1975. Vietnam became another Cold War battlefield. The Communist North fought the US-backed South. After years of war and heavy casualties, the US withdrew, and Vietnam became a unified communist country. 8. Berlin Wall, 1961 to 1989. In 1961, East Germany built the Berlin Wall to stop people from escaping to the West. It became the strongest symbol of Cold War division. When the wall fell in 1989, it signaled the approaching end of the Cold War. Part 5. How did the Cold War end? In the 1980s, the Soviet Union's economy was very weak. In 1985, Mikhail Gorbachev became leader and introduced reforms called Glasnost, means openness, and Perestroika, means restructuring, to fix the system. He reduced military spending and improved relations with Western countries. In 1989, communist governments in Eastern Europe collapsed, and in 1991, the Soviet Union itself broke apart, officially ending the Cold War. Part 6. Impacts of the Cold War. The Cold War reshaped the modern world. NATO and military alliances were created. Many countries became battlefields for proxy wars. Nuclear weapons changed global politics. The US emerged as the world's only superpower. New nations gained independence during this period. Technology advanced rapidly, especially in space and defense. And that's the Cold War, a conflict without direct battlefields but with consequences that changed the entire world. If you enjoyed this explanation, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. This is Learning Lane, where history becomes simple, powerful, and unforgettable. See you in the next video. Until then, keep learning and keep growing.